This is section 8.7, the cost of home ownership, part 2. Example 1 says to prepare a loan amortization schedule for the first 2 months of the mortgage loan shown. Round entries to the nearest cent. And what's cool about doing this example is we can see where they get these numbers from in everyday life, because when you are a homeowner, you do have access to these amortization schedules, so you can see what portion of your monthly payment is going towards the loan itself, in other words the principal, and what portion is going towards interest. And then after you make that payment, you can see how much, of course, is left to pay off on the loan, the mortgage amount itself. So in this particular example, the interest rate we're being charged is 7%. The amount of mortgage that we borrowed here is $200,000. The number of monthly payments is 240. And our monthly payment is $1,550 for this mortgage payment. This is the principal and interest monthly payment, in other words. This is a 20-year loan. And we're just going to do the first 2 months, so 6 boxes. Remember, it said round to the nearest cent. So we'll start with interest to see what portion of our monthly payment goes towards interest. In other words, what portion of our $1,550 we're paying per month goes towards the interest that they're charging us, does not go towards paying back the loan, the principal amount. We're going to use the good old simple interest formula way back from earlier in this chapter. So this is I for interest equals principal times rate times time, and I'll make a curvy T for time. Time needs to be converted to years just like back then. I'll put my scratch work below the table. So starting with month 1, the interest I, I'm using a lowercase cursive I here, equals the principal, P, well that was $200,000, that's the mortgage amount that we borrowed, times R is the interest rate that they're charging us, 7%. When you convert that to a decimal, means to move your decimal point 2 hops to the left. So 7% is the same as 0.07, times the time is 1 month. But to convert it to years, we divide months by 12. In other words, 1 month is 1/12 of a year. For this chart, this type of a chart, you're always going to be plugging in 1/12 into time. It's always going to be 1 month at a time. And so in your calculator, you're just simply multiplying 200,000 times 0.07 times 1/12. And you should be getting 1,166.6 repeating. So that's going to round to 67 cents approximately when we round 2 digits out to the nearest cent. Since the third digit is a 6, we round up. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the table as well. So 1166.67. So in other words, interpreting this number and what it means, we're putting forth every single month for our mortgage $1,550. But of that $1,550, the vast majority, we just figured out 1166 and 67 cents of it goes towards interest. It does not even go towards the loan, paying off the loan at all. So to see how much is actually going towards the principal to pay off the loan, well, we're going to simply subtract. We know the overall monthly payment. They tell us that in the original question. So monthly payment minus how much of it is going towards interest. So really this is just a nice subtraction question. So take the monthly payment minus the interest. Well, our monthly payment was $1,550 according to the original problem, minus the interest, the portion of that monthly payment going towards interest we just found in step 1 was $11.66 and 67 cents. Go ahead and subtract it out, and What's left to go towards the principal, to go towards paying back the loan, the mortgage, is only $383.33. So out of the $200,000 you borrowed for the house, the mortgage itself, in that first month, your $1,550 payment, only $383.33 goes towards the $200,000 mortgage amount. So to find the balance of the loan in this last column, it's going to be subtraction again. We're going to take the current balance and we're going to subtract from it the monthly principal, what went towards paying off the loan, which is just the principal payment we've done in blue. So the balance of the loan, the current balance is $200,000 minus, we just said in the last step that only $383.33 went towards paying off the loan. That's what we call the principal. So when I take $200,000 minus $383.33, I still have a ways to go. I still have to pay off $199,616.67 is my new balance, the remaining mortgage left. So again, the idea here is that even though you're paying $1,550 towards that house each month, only the portion of $1,550 that's the principal goes towards paying off your loan, unfortunately. Especially at the beginning, you're mainly paying interest, which is what they charge you for loaning you the money in the first place. Let's try one more round. So now we're going to go into month 2, but keep in mind the principal P is no longer $200,000. We're going to use the new balance of the loan. So going back to the first box, the interest payment, remember we're using interest equals principal times rate times time. The new principal amount, the new balance of the loan right here was $199,616.67. So your current balance, keep plugging it into P, times the rate is still 0.07 because it was 7% converted to a pure decimal, times the time is always 1/12 in these types of questions because it's 1 month, and to convert to years, divide by 12. So in your calculator, go ahead and type in $199,616.67 times 0.07 times 1/12. And if you do it correctly, you should be getting that out of the $1,550 you're paying for the mortgage, now in this month, $1,164 and about 43 cents of it is going towards interest. So the vast majority is still unfortunately going towards interest. $11.64 and 43 cents. Now the principal payment, we said to take the monthly payment and subtract the interest that we just calculated. So the monthly payment is still $1,550 minus the interest right here was $11.64 and 43 cents. And after you subtract, that means that $385.57 is the only portion that's going towards paying off your loan, your mortgage loan. Feel free to pause this video at any time and try these calculations in your calculator just to make sure you're getting the right answers. And the new balance of the loan that I'll do in black pen again. We said take the current balance, which now was $199,616.67, and subtract the monthly principal, which was $385 and 57 cents. And yeah, we still have a long ways to go. You can see why this is a 20-year loan, because now we're down to still owing $199,231.10. is our new balance. So you might want to jot down those formulas that I've listed below each column heading, because it's the same formulas and the same pattern when you get this type of a question in the homework. Looking at example 2, it says, suppose that your gross annual income is $240,000. Whew, yeah, that'd be nice. I wish, right? A, what is the maximum amount you should spend each month on a mortgage payment? And then there are parts B and C as well, which we'll get to in a minute. But focusing on A for starters, whenever it asks you the maximum amount you should spend on a mortgage payment, they want you to use that 28% rule, which we discussed in the previous video, the part 1 of section 8.7 video, which says that according to most financial advisors, that people can afford to spend up to 28% of their adjusted gross on a house payment. So whenever it has that phrase, maximum amount on a mortgage payment, they're expecting you on the homework and on the test to just automatically know that that's affiliated with 28% every time. Since we're going to use it in a calculation, I am going to have to convert it to a decimal. So I'm going to move my decimal point 2 hops to the left. And when I do that, I see that 28% is the same as 0.28. Now they are being a little tricky here because they gave us the annual income, but then parts A, B, and C talk about each month. So before I do anything else, let's go ahead and convert the annual income to per month. So I take their $240,000 annual income and I divide by 12, of course, since obviously 12 months in a year. 240,000 divided by 12 means that their gross before taxes each month is $20,000. Nice. So $20,000, there's their monthly gross, and we're going to use that in these calculations. So according to financial advisors, they can afford to spend 28% of that monthly gross maximum on a mortgage payment. So I'm going to take the 0.28 that represents the 28% of their monthly gross, means to multiply when you hear the word of a lot of times in math. So I'll write a parenthesis for times. The monthly gross we just said was 20,000. So as long as we know that we're always going to use 28% when it asks for maximum amount on a mortgage payment, we multiply it by the monthly gross is all we do every time. Just simple multiplication. When you multiply 0.28 times 20,000, you're going to get 5,600. So based on their income, they can spend up to $5,600 a month on a mortgage payment. Part B, what is the maximum amount you should spend each month for total credit obligations? So for all your credit obligations, well, financial advisors suggest that you can spend up to 36% of your gross salary on all your total credit obligations each month. And again, it's just another percentage they're going to expect you to know come homework and come test time. So as soon as you see the phrase total credit obligations, you should immediately think 36%. I'm going to convert that to a decimal. So moving the decimal point 2 hops to the left, it's really 0.36 of, meaning times again, the monthly gross again was 20,000. So we do 0.36 times 20,000. You should be getting 7,200. So whoever's making that gross should spend no more than 36% on total monthly debt, which for them is $7,200 maximum each month. Now, we want to really read part C very carefully because it is worded in kind of a confusing manner. So it says, if your monthly mortgage payment is 90% of the maximum amount you can afford, what is the maximum amount you should spend each month for all your other debt? So here's the weird part of this question. Let's translate what it means. When it says your monthly mortgage payment is 90% of the maximum amount you can afford. Well, we said in Part A that the maximum amount we could afford on a mortgage payment is $5,600. And if our monthly mortgage payment is 90% of that number, convert 90% to a decimal, so move the decimal point 2 ops to the left, and it's 0.90 or 0.9. Of the 5,600 means to multiply it by the 5,600. So if I do 0.90 times 5,600, we see that we get $5,040. Again, this represents your current monthly mortgage payment. And that's why I think that this part C in the homework is just like this, and it's worded kind of oddly, because who speaks like that? Who would say, my monthly mortgage payment is 90% of the maximum amount I can afford? Why wouldn't they just say, my monthly mortgage payment is $5,040, right? But they are adding another level of percentages that they're testing you on, is why they do that. So that's step one. We translate what our monthly mortgage payment even is in Part C of these types of questions. Now we can go on to step 2 and finally answer what the original question was asking. So it says, what's the maximum amount you should spend each month for all other debt? Well, we already said in Part B that for all of our debt, our total credit obligations, we should be spending $7,200. However, in step 1, we already found out that we're spending $5,040 of that on a house, on a mortgage. So all you have to do is take your total credit obligations answer from Part B, which was $7,200, and subtract what you're currently paying each month on the mortgage. So $7,200 minus the $5,040 is going to give me a final answer of $2,160. So in other words, in Part B, this $7,200, that's what you should be spending on everything. The mortgage, house, your other monthly bills, your phone bill, your electricity, etc., each month. And if you already have this huge mortgage payment, that doesn't leave you much room to afford all your other items, I think is the point that they're trying to get across here. But yeah, $2,160, final answer to Part C.